Hey there, you looking kinda cute. Please consider subscribing and check out our Patreon for more. Enjoy the video. My mom talked to me with a disappointed look on her face and said, Mike, I don't think they'll let you join the brownies. I'm sure that brownies are only for little girls, and you're not a little girl. How come I can't be a brownie? Well, because it's part of Girl Scouts, and you have to be a girl to join Girl Scouts. She said that you should join the Cub Scouts because they are part of the Boy Scouts. But Mom, there isn't a Cub Scout pack around here, and my friends Diane and Tammy go to brownie meetings, which I want to go to too. I might not have to join the group if I just go to the meetings. Would you be okay with that? Well, Mom said, if Mrs. Simmons, the brownie leader, thinks it's fine, then I guess it's fine with me. But I don't think a 6-year-old boy would want to be a brownie. Well, I do want to be a brownie because they do lots of cool things and I want to do them with my friends. Could you ask Mrs. Simmons by calling her? Please, could you? Mom said she would call, and later that night she talked to Mary Simmons, who was in charge of the brownies. Mrs. Simmons said it was a little strange, but since my best friends were in the brownie troop and there was no local Cub Scout pack, she didn't see any problem with letting me go to the meetings. So, that was that. The next Tuesday, right after school was over, Tammy, Diane, and 5 other 6-year-old girls from our neighborhood and I went to our first brownie meeting. The meeting was so much fun and took place at Mrs. Simmons' house. The girls and Mrs. Simmons treated me as if I were one of them. All of the girls wore their cute brownie uniforms, which were light brown dresses that stopped just above the knees. They also wore their uniforms to school that day so they wouldn't have to go home and change before the meeting. The brownie symbol was on the dress's bodice, and some of the girls wore the brownie beanie. I didn't have a uniform because, as a boy, I usually went to school in a white dress shirt and blue cotton slacks. At the meeting, the first thing we did was say the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. We had to stand up straight and put our hands on our hearts. The Girl Scout promise was also said. I couldn't say it clearly because I'd never heard it before. I did, however, make a mental note to learn it before the next meeting so I could be a real brownie. After the warm-up activities, we started working on a new project that would help us get the Bluebird Award. We had to make a necklace out of beads. Mrs. Simmons had everything she needed to make them, and it only took a few minutes to figure out how to do it. I thought my necklace was one of the prettiest when I was done, so I put it around my neck like the other girls did. After that, we all put on aprons to protect our clothes and learned how to make sugar cookies. We even decorated them with icing and put them in pretty packages to give to our moms. It was really cool to wear an apron because it looked like a dress from the front and tied in the back with a bow. Everything was so fun, but I was so envious of all the girls. I didn't understand why I couldn't wear the same uniform as the other brownies. I didn't think it was fair that boys couldn't wear the same things as their friends if their friends were girls. Girls can wear whatever they want, and no one says boo. But if I told my mom I wanted a brownie uniform like Diane and Tammy, I'm sure she'd say no. Boys can't wear clothes made for girls. It just doesn't work the other way around. After the meeting, Tammy, Diane, and I walked home together, carrying our books and cookies for our moms in our knapsacks. I was upset that I couldn't really be a brownie. Tammy and Diane must have been able to tell how I felt on the inside, even though I tried not to show it. What's wrong with Mike? Didn't you have fun? Didn't you like being a brownie? Tammy asked. Oh, I had a great time, and I can't wait for the meeting next week, I said, looking down at my feet with a sad face, but I wish Diane could tell something was wrong, so she asked Mike, What's wrong? If you had fun at the meeting, why do you look so sad? I told her, Oh, it's nothing, or at least nothing that can be done about it. As I thought, how can I tell them that I'd like to be a real brownie and be able to wear a brownie uniform to the meeting? Diane told Mike, Come on, I thought you, me, and Tammy were the best of friends. I agreed with her that we were best friends by nodding my head. Well, best friends don't keep secrets from each other, so if you want to be our best friend, you have to tell us what's wrong. I felt sick to my stomach. What if I told them I wanted to wear a dress and they laughed? Or even worse, what if they got mad at me and I couldn't go to any more brownie meetings? Or maybe they wouldn't let me be their friend anymore. I said in a trembling voice, "Promise you won't laugh at me and promise that no matter what I tell you, we'll still be best friends and you won't tell anyone else what I tell you." "Sure," we both promise. "You can trust us to keep a secret," Tammy said. "Remember when you scratched my dad's car by accident? I didn't tell on you, did I? So we promise that we'll always be best friends no matter what you say." I took a deep breath and said, "Well, I did enjoy being a brownie today. It was really cool and a lot of fun, but there was one thing that would have made it even better." I hesitated, thinking maybe I shouldn't tell them, but then I went for it anyway. I'd really like to be a brownie and wear a uniform like you two. "It's so cute, but it's a dress, and my mom says that boys can't wear dresses. I don't understand why I can't dress like a girl if I want to. It seems so unfair that I started to cry." The girls tried to comfort me by telling me, "Mike, don't cry. Please don't be so sad. We're best friends, and we'll always be best friends," Tammy said. "But I don't understand why you want to wear a brownie uniform. Even though the uniform is nice, why would a boy want to wear a dress?" Diane gave me a Kleenex to blow my nose into, and I wiped my eyes with my sleeve as I told them the rest. "Well, I just think it's a lot better to be a girl than a boy. Girls can wear dresses, skirts, blouses, and cute shorts in any color they want. But boys can only wear pants and shirts. Girls can wear cute Mary Janes, flats, sandals, and even high heels as adults, but boys can only wear plain old boy shoes. Your clothes are a lot nicer and softer now. I sometimes think I should have been a girl because of how I feel about everything, but mostly I'd just like to try on a brownie uniform." Tammy and Diane looked at each other strangely, and Tammy said to me, "Listen, why don't you walk ahead and wait for Diane and me on the bench at the bus stop? In a minute, we'll catch up with you." I replied with a heavy sigh, "Okay, but I hope you're not mad at me." Diane told me, "Don't worry, Mike, we're not mad at you. I just need a minute to talk to Tammy about this before we talk to you about it." I walked slowly over to the bench and sat down, wondering if it was a good idea to tell them everything. Within a few minutes, the girls came and sat down next to me on the bench. "Oh my, Mike. We had no idea you felt this way. Why haven't you told us this sooner? If that's what's making you so sad, I think we can help," Tammy said as she smiled at me. "Yeah, if you're going to be our best friend, we want to make sure you're not sad if there's something we can do to help," Diane said, as she put her arm around my shoulder and gave me a squeeze. Diane replied, "I don't think my mom or dad are home yet. Come on, let's stop by and see what we can do to make this the best brownie day for you," she said. "You can try on my uniform because we're about the same size." By the time we got to Diane's house, I was so excited that my mouth was dry and my palms were wet. Diane had told me that if I really wanted to, I could try on her uniform, and oh boy, did I want to. We went to her room because her parents were not there. While Diane took off her uniform in the bathroom, Tammy and I sat on her bed. Diane came back in a few minutes. She had her brownie uniform with her. "Okay, Mike, here you go. You can just put it on in the bathroom." I quickly grabbed the uniform out of her hand and ran down the hall to the bathroom. My first chance to wear a dress, I thought. Well, here goes nothing. I was getting short of breath as I looked at the dress and tried to figure out how to put it on. It was one piece and had buttons down the front to the waist. How do I wear it? I wondered. I could put the whole dress over my head like a long t-shirt, or I could step into it through the part with the buttons and pull it up over my shoulders. I decided to put the whole thing over my head and made a mental note to ask the girls which way was the girl way. As I tried to button the front, my hands were shaking. I couldn't figure out why I was having trouble until I realized that, unlike on boys' shirts, the buttons were on the other side of the opening. There was a full-length mirror on the bathroom door, and for the first time, I saw myself dressed as a girl. Even though I didn't look much like a girl with my short hair, big sneakers, and big socks, I felt great. First, I turned one way, then the other, so I could see myself from different points of view. I even did a little spin so the skirt of my dress would swing around my knees. I couldn't wait to show Tammy and Diane how I looked. My heart was beating really fast. I was a little worried that they might laugh at me, but when I told them my secret, they didn't laugh, so I left the bathroom with a smile on my face. When I walked into the room, the girls looked at me. My smile was huge. They both smiled at me and looked at me like they knew what I meant. Even though the only thing that had changed about me in the last few minutes was that I was now wearing a simple dress, both of them seemed to know that the person in front of them was not just a boy in a dress. This person was another girl. He looked different from them, but he was a sister to them in his heart. They both got up and walked over to me, put their arms around me, and gave me a big hug. "Oh, Mike, you look great in your brownie uniform," Tammy said, "but you might be able to look even more like a girl with a little help." "Yeah," Diane said. "Let's get rid of those horrible boy shoes and socks. Here, wear these." Diane gave him her pink running shoes and a pair of white cotton socks. I kicked off my shoes, took off my socks, and put on Diane's with eagerness. "Mike, when you walked across the room, your dress didn't move very smoothly." Diane said, "Why don't you put on a pair of my pants so the dress doesn't bunch up? That will show you what it's like to dress like a girl." I didn't believe what I heard. Only a few hours ago, no one else in the world knew about my deep desire to be a girl. Now, my two best friends had seen me in a dress and were asking me if I wanted to wear a pair of girls' pants. Oh, absolutely. Since I decided I wanted to be a girl, I've wanted to wear pants. I screamed. Diane walked over to her dresser, opened one of the drawers, and pulled out the cutest little pink pants I'd ever seen. As I put on the pants, I saw that they had delicate lace around the waistband and leg openings, and the cutest little bow just below the waistband in the front. I thought they were made just for me. Oh, I felt so great and so girly. The pants felt very soft and silky. After I took off the skirt, the girls asked me to cross the room so they could see how much better I looked. "Do you want to try on something else?" asked Diane. I really wanted to, but I wasn't sure if I should risk it, so I didn't. "This dress and your pants make me feel so good, and I'd love to try on all of your clothes. But what you've already done for me is enough for today. I wanted this good feeling to last forever, but all of a sudden I realized that it was getting late, and that soon I'd have to take off these girl clothes and put on my gross boy clothes again. Thank you so much for being understanding and letting me wear your clothes, Diane. But I really need to get home before my mom worries about me." Tammy said, "Maybe we can help you again if you want. We're all about the same size, so we can share our clothes with you whenever you want." Diane said, "I know you can't wear my brownie uniform or shoes and socks home, but why don't you wear those pretty pink ties under your pants? No one will be able to see them, and if you want, you can even keep them." "Oh, really, can I? Thanks a lot. You're the best friend a girl, a boy could have. You have no idea how important this day is to me. Thank you, Diane, for the pants. I'll get new ones as soon as I can when I've saved up my allowance. Mike, don't worry about getting new ones. I have a lot of pants. They won't be missed at all. Hey, don't forget there's another meeting next week. Again, thank you. You two are the best friends I could ever have," I said as I gave Tammy and Diane another hug before I left. I walked home with a smile on my face. This was the day that changed me into the crossdresser I am today. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out Patreon for a lot more content and early access to YouTube videos.